Welcome back, everybody, to Phil's Recap and Review. Better Call Saul, Season 5, Episode 3, The Guy for This, the recap, breakdown, and review. Here again to talk about another episode of Better Call Saul. And let's just cut it off, get it out of the way right from the beginning. I'm not alone. I have with me my co-host Joe Dirty Locks here on this adventure today to finally talk about some Better Call Saul and finally get to have him on the show live. I think the last time we had Joe on the show was during Picard, but it was a pre-recorded segment, and then previous to that was maybe The Walking Dead. So it's good to have Joe back for a live recap talking about this particular episode of Better Call Saul. And also, we might have Joe talk about a few other things at the end a little bit, but we'll get to that at the end. But first off, before we go any further, I do need to say this. Let me shut off this music. That I'm also not alone. That throughout the afternoon, this wasn't a planned thing. Usually, I'll be doing this right after the episode airs. This is the next afternoon to make sure so Joe could get involved. But throughout this live stream, it's possible, Joe, that we might have some live people in the live motherfucking chat.
No.
Yes,
nobody would join us.
Yeah, we got the walking
What's up,
David is
Dave?
already. Yeah, David is already in the live motherfucking chat, and we'll have some other people popping their heads in, or people that are watching this later. So whenever you're watching this, please share your thoughts on this season of Better Call Saul, specifically this episode, or if you have any questions leading forward for next week. But you can also call.
Because I get your answers.
Yeah, Joe has all of your answers. But we're not alone here as well. If you want to join in the conversation, I'm looking, and I already have two. I have two waiting for me, one from last week and one from last night. We have a voicemail and text hotline. And what's good about that is regardless of when you're watching this, you could be watching this 3 months from now, and you could still, because it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, call on in 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. If you're afraid of your voice and you don't want it on the air, you can also text that number. And in case I miss your live motherfucking chat or don't comment to your comment, you can always call and leave a voicemail in that way. Yes, everyone needs their daily cup of Joe. David has been missing you, but do you know what I haven't been missing? Do you know what I've been missing a lot? I've been missing you, Joe. But 3 episodes into this season of Better Call Saul, I'm realizing, or I think I realize this every fucking season, but I am flabbergastedly blown away with how fucking good this show is. Okay, let me be direct. Episodes 1 and 2 were really good this season. But they were kind of setting the chess pieces in their position for the game that was going to be this season. This episode,
Does it not get better with every episode? Like, I said this to Katie earlier. Phil, I said this to Katie. I said, you know what the thing is you watch TV and you're like, you got good shows. You got shows that you love.
There's a lot of good shows right now.
Yeah, and then Better Call Saul comes on. And you realize, wow, this is a really good fucking show.
Yep.
And then you spend the whole week thinking about how good that episode was. And for lucky us, we only had to wait a night after the first episode. But then after the second episode that Monday night, we had to wait a week, right? And so you're thinking about, wow, that first episode was good. The second episode was really fucking good. And you're thinking, wow, just this shit is so good. And you over that week, you watch your other shows, and you're entertained.
Yeah, they're
and
pretty
you
good.
like them.
They're
and
not
they're
bad.
still good shows, but you realize, wow, that Better Call Saul was really fucking good.
Yeah, it's
And then the third episode drops, and you go, what the fuck? What the fuck? How does it get better? How does it continually step above itself, rise above itself to make you go,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Joe. I'm the same way. This third episode of this season, and I'm big, and we're big on this channel on hyperbole, and I don't give a fuck. I'll be as hyperbole as a motherfucker right now. That episode was one of my favorite episodes of either series altogether. It would be right up there with Chicanery for me as one of my favorite episodes of Better Call Saul. If you don't know what Chicanery was, that was the episode where Michael McKean breaks down on the stand, where Jimmy breaks him down, and Michael McKean has that huge break, like, Jimmy, everyone hated Jimmy, little Jimmy, like when he just has this big huge break, and it was probably the orgasmic peak of the Chuck storyline. This was a really great episode because they set up these amazing parallels in it, Joe. And Kim's a bitch, as Killmonger said. But the interesting part about it is she's the same thing as Jimmy. That's what this episode was kind of showing. I think they're in such similar but different situations, being trapped in these worlds and on this course. And Kim at the end, I love the bookends of the beginning of the episode with with Saul showing up and seeing Kim on the balcony, and then her showing up at the end and seeing him on the balcony. And I haven't even got into the Nacho stuff and how good Lalo's been this season, but just talking about the Kim and Jimmy dynamic, that relationship just keeps getting building. And the reason why someone like Killmonger can say Kim's a bitch is because we've all been in relationships, whether it's whoever they are, whatever they are. And we've been in relationships with people like this that are bitches, in the sense that Kim is hating Saul for being Saul, yet she loves being that too. And she knows that that's the success for her, to work outside the law a little bit, or getting obsessed and getting hyper focused. She's hating herself through hating on stuff Jimmy's doing. But again, at the end of this episode, they somehow have this like connective tissue moment, Joe, where I think she's starting to accept who he is. I don't know. This show is so incredible, and I know there's a lot of fanfare happening right now, to the point where it's going to create the reverse dynamic where you see
you see it right at the end,
right,
where she throws that bottle and he throws one. So she throws one and he throws one. Where at the beginning she saw him put that on the banister and she's like, "Ah, fuck, that's gonna fall. Get that off of there." Now, in the first two episodes, you have the whole refrigerator deal, right? And that I don't like it. I don't want to lie to my clients. Oh, what, the refrigerator guy that we got to take the plea? No, all of them. And then this thing with the glass happens, right? The beer bottles. And to me, it just rings solid that it's straight up. She sees it now after that more than ever, that he is the devil on her shoulder. He is sitting there ready to encourage, to go along with, to support any devilish, devious move she's going to make. That's who he is. Whatever it takes, as long as I don't necessarily have to pull the trigger myself, we'll do it. And I'll do it with you. And he'll encourage her to do it.
Check.
And he definitely will not be that voice of reason that says, don't throw that bottle. You can break somebody's windshield. You can hit somebody. What if somebody gets out of the car right as you throw that? What if, what if a kid goes and falls on that, or an old person falls on that, and the neighbors say that we were chucking bottles off the fucking balcony, thinking like a lawyer would think, like she was thinking. We don't want to be liable for any of that shit. But no, she feels her emotions, and he just is like, let's Jimmy that shit.
It's so interesting, Joe, because it could be viewed in somewhat different ways. Like, I absolutely see what you're saying, and I think I've seen that in Kim through these 3 episodes, but I also could view that scene potentially as her giving in to Jimmy and giving into
no, because you have the old man. You'll say whatever. You'll say anything to get what you want. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That whole thing.
Oh yeah,
and
I love that. All that.
She went hard at him, then she went soft at him, and he's still not fucking budging. And like, that whole line is a setup for my whole thing too. Like, you'll do whatever it takes, you'll say whatever it takes, and she knows that about Jimmy already, right? Yeah, I'm happy for Saul. You're most lucrative. I'm happy for Saul, not you.
Yeah, good for him. I love how she says good for him. Good for him. And I tend to agree with you. I'm just slightly, in a very minor way that doesn't make much sense at all, holding out hope that
she wants Jimmy, not Saul.
Right, but what I'm holding out hope is that at some point where they and I know this is a buzz thing, where they mess with my expectations, and I think they do this better than anybody because they always do it in a natural way. Showing Kim come to grips with that, and the fact that she is actually and again, people think I'm crazy for this, but I'm holding on to this until it's not true, that she is actually still around during the Breaking Bad time, and she learns a way to coexist with Jimmy.
No.
I think I'm wrong, though. I think I'm wrong, but that's what I want to happen.
And again, I think this is the episode. This is the turning point. This is when I said, Jimmy, you need to go break that woman's heart. Why? You say, why would he need to go do that? Because when you're in, Phil, You're in.
Yeah, you're in all the way. Yeah, and you need and she's loyal and she does love him. Joseph, this is in the live chat said this is such a well written episode, and I agree. That's why so fucking much. Joe can't contain himself. So well written.
Like what you said, Phil. You think back to Shenanigan. What was it? The other episode with McKean on the stand.
Chicanery.
Chicanery, right? You think back to that, and you think about how good that episode was, and you think about all the fucking episodes before that, and then you think about the episode you just fucking saw, where you saw that government plate pull up, right? You saw that.
We'll get to that in a second.
You saw that foot hit the ground.
You saw that. You saw that belly. They showed you that belly.
And so and you think, wow, it's on par with that or better than that. These episodes, seasons,
and
season episode, they're writing this.
That's what I was
here. And
Joe, that's what
themselves.
Joe, that's kind of what I wanted to get into here at the beginning before we get into this particular episode, because you're getting a lot of very positive fanfare. It still doesn't pull ratings like even that other piece of shit show on AMC or a couple of other shows that are on television, or even like Breaking Bad did in its final season.
Comic, Phil.
What was that?
Comic.
Right. Exactly. It's a comics. It's a band's band. It's like that band that all the musicians show up to watch play.
Nobody knows who the
But no one knows who the fuck they are. Exactly. But no one knows who the fuck they are. But it is getting like all the critics, quote unquote, are all kind of catching up in this off season because they all caught up on Netflix, and they're all putting in the work. And every day you see another article, especially if the computer listens to you talk like it listens to me talk, and now shows me ads and shows me articles for Better Call Saul all over the place, right? And every week now or every day there's another. Is Better Call Saul the best show on television? Like they're really, pushing it. So you're going to get some of that that reflective negative energy coming off eventually, where people are going to be like, it's not that good. But it is that good. And to the people that are putting that argument, and I know a lot of people are putting the argument Breaking Bad versus Better Call Saul just because everyone wants to rank things. It's one big giant thing. And because this show and that line between the two shows bridges in warps, and this and El Camino, all three of these things I consider almost one entity. If you want me to get really specific into why it feels like Better Call Saul is better, and this is my opinion, because I will always say, from my opinion, this is just my opinion, because I could see it be argued that Breaking Bad had a tighter narrative from beginning to end, where this is more of a character study. Which both things are excellent. Both do both things, but Better Call Saul was more character study. Breaking Bad was more a quick narrative, a story from beginning to end. Where Better Call Saul is better, and it just is the way this production team, like I said last week or the week before, I'm going to say Vince, but I mean Vince and his whole team, that Vince and his whole team keep getting better at this.
It's a lawyer show, Phil, that is about zero fucking lawyering.
It does have it occasionally, but when it has the lawyering, it tends to generally make sense. When Chuck was on the show, it was a little bit more lawyering. But I guess my final point on that is it's so well produced because this team has been working together now for 6 seasons of Breaking Bad and now 5 seasons now of Better Call Saul, 4.5 seasons. They're getting better and better at what they do. If Breaking Bad was made now, and I'm not saying it should be, the production value would be just as high as what Better Call Saul is, and it would feel a little tighter in some spots. They know when they did something right or did something wrong, and they talk about it, and right now they're the best they ever did. It's not like the athletes in the twilight of their career right now. Vince and his team are just reaching their peak. I can't wait to see what they do next, not in this world. It's not going to be like Kurt Sutter doing the Bastard Executioner. You're like, can he please go back to the Sons of Anarchy world? And the Mayan fans are like, thank God he came back to that world. But it's not like that. I think this team, if they touched anything, would be great. I'm not an X-Files fan, but Vince killed it on the X-Files. He's killed it in many things. Let's catch up in the live motherfucking chat for a second, so to make sure we don't miss anything. Yes, we get that crazy 8 in this episode. See at the beginning of that double agent stuff. As Killmonger said, Nacho's dad scene was perfect. Great, excellently played scene. We haven't even talked about Nacho yet. He is so we
haven't talked about any of the episode yet. Like really,
Nacho
all we've done is gush all over it.
Nacho is so subtle awesome on this show. Mike Mondo, is that his name? Something like that, or Mark
Yeah,
Mondo. It's one of those things.
yeah.
He is so sneaky good. He's what Kim was in the first seasons. Like so good under the radar, but if you need him to step up, he does. And then when Chuck was out, Kim stepped up to her position in co-lead and has killed it these back seasons. Oh, great to see cynical Lindsay in the live motherfucking chat. Jason Voorhees. This season of Better Call Saul is the palate cleanser I needed for TV. Lalo is more scary than me, says Jason Voorhees. I grinned from ear to ear seeing Hank and Gomez. Yes, we haven't said that yet. Joe hinted at it, but Hank and Gomez make an appearance, and they were in the episode. It wasn't just like, hey guys, here I am. They had
They
a
were there.
active role in the episode. Crazy 8 had to be a double agent.
It's not only an active role in. Did we see the culmination of that whole plot yet? No. So there's more to come
we're
from
going to see
them
more
this
of that
season,
as
for
well.
sure.
The only thing that isn't as interesting to me this season, and they didn't do any of it tonight, and I was talking about this before, it's not that it's not interesting, it's the one thing that suffers from prequel-itis in this, is the Gus and the Hector battle and the building of the lab and all of that, which I think is interesting, but in the Mike arc right now, which if I'm not gonna, I think Mike is great, I think his scenes are always awesome.
Badass.
But if I had to make anything, and this is just because of my prequel-itis disease that I suffer from, the fact that I know that Mike ends up loyal to Gus and that they build this, the outcome of that whole thing. It's more about seeing how the places get put, where I don't know how I don't know how Kim and Jimmy's story end. I don't know exactly how Nacho's story ends, or Lalu. So all that stuff is really new to me, and new stuff that's that's extremely interesting. And
Lalu's
also
got that just creepy running fucking smile.
yeah, he reminds me a little bit.
I was always happy.
He reminds me a little bit of what's his name, who was also on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and he was also on Walking Dead. Negan's little buddy there, the guy that did the voice in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Think about it for a second, but you know who I'm talking about. He reminds me a little bit of him.
Frank. No.
You could probably get it from his character's name on Grand Theft Auto. What was his
Yeah, what was it? Wasn't that Frank? No, Frank is the main guy.
Yeah. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Someone in the live chat will tell us. He's also a voice.
I can't think of it.
He's also a voice actor, and he's very fucking amazing.
Yep.
But Lalu reminds me a little bit of him. Let's jump in this. And of course, the Gene storyline. Stephen Ogg.
Yep.
Stephen Ogg.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, he's amazing. I think he's one of those underrated actors, Stephen Ogg, and same with like Garrett and Dylan Hunt, and like I consider them all in kind of like a handful of these. Chris Maloney is another one. They have like all like a really extra level of talent of an edge that you put them in a scene.
That Chris Maloney show, Christopher Maloney.
Trevor,
show,
thank you, Trevor
Happy.
T. Jackson. Oh, Happy. That's incredibly funny, incredibly all over the top.
Dude, he is amazing.
He's one of my favorites.
Even what's his name? The voice there,
Patton. It's one of Patton's best things too. Yeah.
Yep.
I love Christopher Maloney. I've loved him since Oz and a lot of shows he's done, even the ones that haven't hit. Anyways, Trevor. Yes, Trevor from Grand Theft Auto. I just want to catch up in the chat before we kick into it. The vivid Kiwi says, I missed the beginning of the stream where he probably talked about this already, but I'm surprised to see the stream live right now. Yeah, I know. We were supposed to go live last night. I waited till the afternoon, and occasionally I will do that for this show when Joe is available now on days so I can have my co-host back. All along, I've been waiting for something to cause Kim to reach her breaking point with Jimmy, but no, it looks like she's going towards the dark side. And see, that's where I'm with Lindsay on this one a little bit. I feel, and Joe, I love how this is debatable and interpretable because they set it up so I saw one thing, you saw the other thing, and neither one of us are wrong here. I know Joe's always right, but neither one of us are wrong. I saw Kim kind of going towards the dark side a little bit tonight. Maybe
no.
accepting that she will go, accepting that she might go down the point to Jimmy's side eventually.
Jimmy, this is the episode where Jimmy sees, or he doesn't see it yet. I think the next episode might be it, but this is the episode that is the beginning of the end of them, because he's in, right? He's in. That means she's game if they need to, and he's not going to want to do that to her.
I wonder.
He's going to know exactly what, like, next episode. he's going to get it. He's going to understand exactly, and he's going to be alone from that point on. And I think she's going to be on board with it because she doesn't want Saul Goodman.
So
She
very
wants
interesting.
Jimmy.
So interesting, Joe. To follow up on that, so you think that? Oh, sorry. You think that he pushes her away, not the other way around?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think it's a little easier for her to leave because she knows that he's the bad boy.
I wonder. My only question for that is there enough Jimmy in there to do that, or is the Saul gonna? And again, I'm only using that for descriptive ways. I don't think they're two different people.
That's the nail that puts the. That's the nail. That's the nail that finishes off. He's already. No, that's it. That's it. She even said on. Well, good for him.
Yeah, good for her. Good.
She's not down with it. She
She's
doesn't
not
want to
She's
be
not playing this.
Saul Goodman's fucking wife. She doesn't want to be known as that lawyer. That will absolutely 100% affect her relationship when it gets out. Your husband, your boyfriend is lawyer to cartels. What?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when she finds out that information. Let me zip through some of the live chat here before we'll start our
Those banks don't want any ties to that shit. And if they don't already have it, they don't want it.
Lindsay says 6th season is the end, boys. It's going to be super lit. Episode 3 was amazing. I can't wait till episode 4, says Vivid. They delayed release the promo trailer for episode 4 now. Oh my God. Jason Voorhees says Dispatches from Elsewhere is going to be worse than The Walking Dead. Let's continue here. The story of Gene is next for Vince. What I wonder, Joseph, is if the story of Gene is going to be an integral part of next season and we're going to get whole episodes in the Gene timeline. A couple people have fantasies of a whole season in the Gene timeline. I don't see that, but I could see a whole episode in that timeline to close out the series or the second to last series, just to like end the last things that we see. I think are going to be in the Gene timeline on this series. I think it's going to end in Gene. Like that will be our final thing, obviously, because we'll see Saul catch up to the timeline we know. I tend to think that next season we're going to see some alternate perspectives of Breaking Bad things from what Saul was up to when we didn't see him with Walter. So I think I don't think they're just going to stop when he meets Walter. I have a feeling they're going to kind of carry through and catch up to the Gene thing through next season. But we can talk about that in the off season leading into next year. But I tend to think that the end of this season is going to be very close to where he meets Walter, or the beginning of next season. And then we're going to see all of his steps. We're going to see him. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think I'm a Lalu fanboy right now, says Kiwi. The Hank and Gomez scene plus Saw plus Crazy 8 had me going fucking crazy. Great to Jeff. Red Sox game. I'm a big family MLB. The story of Gene is next. Simon, Steve Ogg. This is where they caught up to us knowing the camera angles of Hank and Gomez from the POV inside the lockers was epic visually. There was so many moments like that in this episode, Andrew. I made note of some of them, but I'm sure I missed some of them. But yes, incredible cinematography, and that's one of the touches that they add. It's one of the things that makes it seem Coen Brothersy, which is funny because I made a note somewhere. There was one section with music and the way everything was reminded me of Raising Arizona. There was like a moment where I'm like, this is reminding me of whoa, da, 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 like the song. It might have been with the ants even at the beginning. It was kind of Raising Arizona-y to me. But I don't know. Kiwi says, hello, Joe. Christopher Maloney will always be that weird cook in wet, hot American summer to me. I love the reunion that they did of that on Netflix a couple of years ago. I thought that was actually funny. Hank laughed, Saul's name. After an encounter with that guy who to leave his property, I got a major burn it all down mentality from Kim. To become full Saul, Kim needs to leave, says Jason. That is a good point, says Jason, and Joe agrees with that. I can see his nod in my side butthole eye. Vivid Kiwi says, I hope this show continues to grow, just like Breaking Bad in its final seasons. I think it is going to continue. I think this team, without kissing their ass and licking their labias too much, I think they don't want to do it if it isn't good. They get pissed off if it isn't good. They got a Beatles-ness about that to them. Beatles broke up only because of Yoko Ono, because they're like, we can't make great stuff together anymore, so let's go. Like these guys only want to work together because they want to make great shit,
And they're getting the license to do it.
Thank you for all the shit I'll give AMC for forcing The Walking Dead upon us for all this time.
If it pays for
if it pays for Better Call Saul, let's get 10 more seasons of the fucking Walking Dead, Joe. I don't care.
Yep.
Fuck all. Jason says Saul is a sleaze bag and Breaking Bad getting rubbed in tugs. No way Kim is around for that. Very good point, Jason. Cynical Lindsay says, my husband thinks that Better Call Saul will end with the first meeting between Saul, Walt, and Jesse. I could also see that being an ending point as well. So, Joe, I guess it's about time. No more hesitation. Let's get into breaking this episode down beat for beat. And it's time as I stall because I'm still out of practice. It's been a while. But here we go. Time for a... Oh, wait. Recap! Okay, so let's get into the recap of this episode. And let me pull my notes up here and turn my little audio stuff on so we can get some little audio clips here. Okay, so we open up on an ant and some interesting music. We see the journey of the ants. It's kind of like the cartel storming Jimmy's cone when he's and just basically eating him and taking all of his parts until he's completely gone. If we think about the end of his storyline, which eventually leads to Walter and Jesse and his demise of being himself and having to be on the run for the rest of his life. He's the cone, and the life he's getting into is being devoured. Something about this scene in the music, Joe, I said this a few seconds ago, reminded me of Raising Arizona or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids at times. Yeah. Fucking all, like, you're watching this show. What just a Breaking Bad-y kind of way to start the episode, whether we're focusing on
fix it up right where we left off at the dead fucking ice cream.
And
right? No, yeah. That's not where we left off. But.
No, almost. And you just touched upon something briefly there that pisses me the fuck off about some other show on AMC that we're not going to talk about, and a lot of shows that I actually really like.
Are we not going to talk about?
Oh, we're talking about that at the end. Okay, but we're definitely talking about that at the end. But spoiler alert, if people want to know what Joe thinks about this season of The Walking Dead so far, stay tuned to the end of this or fast.
No, won't do it.
Oh yeah, no. Do you guys want to know what of The Walking Dead? What do you think? Okay, but what pisses me off so much about that other show sometimes is when we end at a dramatic point. I don't mind cliffhangery type stuff, or we end a dramatic point. I hate shows that when we come back don't give you the immediate answers, or they fast forward time 3 months, or they make you wait for the answer of the thing that you've been waiting for. I think that's fucking cloying douchebaggery. I really do. And Better Call Saul almost always gives you the second afterwards. The beginning of this whole season started, we got the Gene stuff, but happened 3 seconds after Jimmy walked away from Kim last season. We got Kim's immediate reaction. Her face being blurry, coming into focus, which going to the whole meanings of the things in this season. Kim's whole storyline this season is probably going to be what Joe is hinting at and what a couple people in the chat have said. Her getting away from Jimmy, whether that's through Jimmy pushing her away or through whatever means. I tend to think the end of the season, the big dramatic end, is them breaking in some way. And you could, in her discover
that's the end of the season,
or maybe not the end, but it is a big dramatic point that's going to happen this season at some point. An ultimate end of their relationship in some way at the end of this season. By the end of the season, I should say. They're not as predictable to do it in the last episode, but I think something will happen. So you could view the entire beginning of this whole season when we start off as blurry Kim, an unfocused camera as Kim walks into focus, and we see the camera clear up as she has this disgusted look on her face as she finally sees Jimmy for what he really is truly. Her whole arc this season could, in my mind, is kind of about that, Joe. It's kind of about her making that discovery, and that it kind of goes with the ants thing here too, which sets up the whole parallels between her and Saul through this whole fucking series. Shit, man. Apparently, oh yes, I heard about this. Apparently, episode 8 will be this season's chicanery Ozymandias level episode. I don't love when PR departments do shit like that, but they have been talking up episode 8 of this season a lot. There's been a lot of, I think it's the episode that Vince directed and wrote, so there's a lot of team hype about that episode. So that potentially could be our apex moment of the season. I think Lalo ends up in jail. Nacho vanishes with Pops to Canada. And I wonder if Nacho, I mean, doesn't Saul at least thinks that Nacho's alive during the Breaking Bad timeline. I don't want to get too wacky here, Joe, but when Jesse and Walt kidnap Saul, I believe he says, "Who sent you, Ignacio?" Which is obviously Nacho. So he thinks Nacho's alive. So I don't think Nacho dies, but who knows?
Right.
Okay, so let's continue here.
Nice.
No, what, Joe? What Joe's giving me the cat smile going on there. Chessier cat smile.
I mean, Nacho's got to die, doesn't he?
I don't know. Could he?
What are they gonna do with him?
Could he escape?
Escape to where? Run away with Dad?
Yeah, run away with Dad. That's what someone in the chat said. Maybe he could run away with Jason Voorhees says.
Really? Come on.
No, maybe Gus. No, because one of the two of them's gonna kill him, right? Right? You can't play the middle here. You get voted out eventually on Survivor if you're playing the middle.
He's a dead man. He's a dead
yeah, you're
man.
a dead man. Yeah.
Nothing. And here's the thing: Gus can't take the chance that any of it gets back to Lalo. Lalo and Nacho can't take the chance that any of it gets back to Lalo.
Remember, all I said, Joe, was that
nobody can take that. Like he's a dead man. He's done.
Saul does not know that Nacho's dead. That does not mean Nacho's not dead. Saul never probably gets confirmation because it happens. Like, why would he get confirmation about that?
Right, of course.
But
he's just gone.
We know what happens. Again, this is prequelitis a little bit. We don't know how it happens, but Lalo either goes to jail or dies. Because I want to be fair that when Gus talks shit to Hector, he says to Hector, "You are the last Salamanca." So whether that means that Lalo is in prison forever, never to be able to have kids.
Well, he's dead.
Or he's dead. I tend to think he's dead. I think Gus kills, by the end of Better Call Saul, Gus kills Lalo and probably kills Nacho too to cover his steps, right? And has Mike do both of them.
Or does Nacho move up and go south? But that would take him so out of his element.
Yeah, and I don't think unless he goes off with his father, that's the only possible.
He's not going anywhere, dude. He's going right in the fucking ditch.
Mike
dude.
is killing him for Gus.
Yeah, he's a dead man.
When Mike pulls his full Darth Vader turn, when he decides to embrace just being a fucking vicious killer for Gus, which he does eventually to a certain point in time. He has a break in his whole thing where
no. He's got his outlet now. Right? We see him
drinking.
Tension, Frank. Yeah. What?
His outlet drinking? You mean?
No, kicking ass. Broke that dude's arm. He's a badass.
He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back.
Like killing the guy in the desert made him feel bad. This made him feel badass.
Okay, so you think that will cause him to go back to Gus and say, "Nah, I just want to be a fucking enforcer."
Well, he exploded at his niece, right? At his granddaughter.
Yep. We have audio of that. I love that.
So he ain't gonna be all like this is his really he can't be exploding on his granddaughter. He's got to have a.
You're done, Joe. You're done. That's what he said to her. You're done.
You're done.
You're done. I actually have that audio clip, and I am gonna get it for when one of us.
Beat you, little child.
It's gonna be the new. It's gonna be the new. Shut the fuck up, Joe. Great to see SMD down. All right, I always add an extra D. SM down in the live chat. Jason, Gus could let Nacho go if Nacho puts Lalo in jail. That is possible, Jason, but I don't. Gus seems to me that no loose ends, no half measure type guy. No half measures. What I want to know is what's it going to take for Gus to get Mike back in his life. Mike pretty much told Gus to go fuck himself. I think, what is Mike most upset about? The situation? I think Mike's going to be in danger, or someone's going to fuck with Mike's life, and Mike's going to have to go back to Gus. I don't know. I think Mike.
Oh, Mike's got work to do.
What work? He quit.
He didn't quit.
He told Gus to go fuck himself.
No, he said go fuck the money.
Oh, but he didn't say I quit. Fair enough.
No,
fair
he
enough.
Didn't say I quit. He said he didn't want his fucking money. He dropped the money, but he's gonna get a call and he's gonna have to show up.
Okay. Then
they said it, and I've said it multiple times now, and they said it in this episode. When you're in, you're in.
Yep.
There is no I'm out. Go fuck yourself. I don't work for you no more. If that's the case, there's a bullet in you.
Yep, no television.
You're in.
Television shows and movies have taught us that from the beginning. From the beginning of The Godfather. We know there's no out. Okay, so the episode starts with Jimmy is literally trapped in the back seat of Nacho's car, which is full of lots of things, where he's looking around. You're seeing it from Jimmy's perspective. We see the pistol in there. Oh, thank you for the sub, little Lucy Duck. Short drive later, he notices the door lock being there, and there's no way out. He's going to meet Lalu Salamanca for the very first time and finding out that he's not being killed. He's not being murdered. They want him for a job. Nacho in this scene, I love his performance. I love this actor. I fucking love this actor, and I can't wait to see more stuff he's going to do. The smile on his face while he's watching Jimmy sweat for Lalu. Like, Nacho is finding way too much enjoyment in this situation. I know he's plagued, but he's also like bringing Jimmy and like knowing this talker, this motherfucker. It's crazy. We talked about the ants, Jason, a little bit earlier, but the ants was an incredible, cool way to start the episode from that perspective and seeing all of that. I think it was really, when we're looking back on this whole season, it will be very symbolic of what happens to Jimmy, or if we just look at it as Jimmy's whole arc to the point where Walter eventually consumes him and the Walter situation consumes him. Yeah, but there's got to be a resolution to the conflict between Mike and Gus, and Mike is pretty damn resentful right now. I think we've seen Gus, and I've seen him in certain situations. Side note, it's just a random thing. What am I rewatching right now? I was rewatching some episodes of the Flight of the Conchords series, and I never realized that Gail was Christian Schall's husband on the show. Gail from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I think we've seen Gus eat shit before, or not be afraid to apologize, even when he doesn't fully mean it or whatever. Just when it serves his purposes. Brit? What was it? Brit? What?
Whose husband?
Christian Schall. They're the girl that has a crush on both of them.
Jenny?
Not Jenny. I forget her name.
From the park?
Now you're just gonna kill me with Flight of the Conchords.
No, the stewardess.
Not the stewardess. The friggin' fan. The super fan.
The hottest girl in the room.
Not the hottest girl in the room, Joe.
I don't know what we're talking about.
You just fucking asshole. So I think Gus eventually is going to
the one that they with the stew in the fridge. That one.
No, the one that had some cello tape, some cello tape.
Cello tape below.
Cello tape. I was gonna start singing something.
Paper,
brown paper, put it together with tape. The tape of love, sticky stuff. Okay, fuck you, dude. That's like you just Roger Rabbited me, like shaving, a haircut, 2 bits. You just kept probing me with Flight of the Conchords stuff till I broke out into a stupid fucking song. Yeah, Gus took a lot of shit from Walt, and he even came to a point where he knew the right thing to say. I think once Gus is done with his Lalu situation, once the stress of all of that is over, he'll say what he needs to say to Mike. Even though he might not mean it, to repair that relationship. Even though Mike will still work, he will, because it gets to a point where Mike says during the Breaking Bad, I will die for the man. I love that man. He really, Gus makes it up to him to a certain extent. So there has to be that moment where he cooks him dinner, invites him to the house, apologizes for acting too abruptly, but things needed to happen. And he'll eat enough shit and apologize and feed Mike's ego enough to make Mike grab him. Sam Smith is like, yes, thank you for that little Flight of the Conchords aside. Joe knows if he needs a sandwich, he can just put his camera on mute and run outside for a second. He's allowed.
There's a sun shop right there.
So he's ready at any time. But yes. Okay, so here we go. Let's continue here. So he meets Lalo Salamanca. Nacho is just so happy to force Jimmy into the situation. As he's just, the smile on his face, Joe, is just, he's like a pig in shit watching as he gets to put, because everyone loves to hate Jimmy, loves to fuck with Jimmy.
Yeah, because he's the mouth.
Because he's the mouth. Yeah, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart over here. As Jimmy walks slowly towards his fate, we see Lalo working on his car. Lalo also he stalls, washes up, does his best intimidation moment, and then he goes, he talks to Jimmy, and what's he got to say? What do you got to say, Lalo Salamanca?
I'll talk. I have a feeling I know what this is about. So just to get the ball rolling, please keep in mind that whatever happened between Mr. Varga and myself, I'm hoping that it's just water under the bridge. Because after all,
Listen to him talk again. He's like this so much in Breaking Bad. This is where you're hearing that explain. He starts explaining.
Dude, he's great in this episode.
He's
The
so great.
faces he makes, the nervousness, the way he talks himself through being nervous without ever not stopping being
Never
nervous.
stopping,
So
Joe. Never stop. Does he remind you of anyone we know? There's just he can just do it. I mean,
done, you did walk out a free man. I mean, you weren't even in custody for a full day. And I admit it was a tad bumpy getting there, but the path to justice is rarely smooth. So I'm hoping that in the end, you know.
And what's funny about this, I'm not going to play every single quote here, but because I could, I just want to sit here and listen to the whole thing. But everyone should watch the episode again. Jimmy is hilarious in this moment. Saul is hilarious, and Lalu. I don't know if it's. I like that. I like this in scenes. Sometimes actors have to play all serious when they're in a moment and they have another character doing something funny and no one reacts to it. I like when they let people react like it's real life. Lalo is laughing his ass off. He's looking at Nacho while all this is happening, and they're making eye contact like, thank you, this is entertaining. Like he's I love this guy. It's just one of those reactions like, oh my god, thank you again.
Perfect.
The ants to the ice cream, Joe. It's sweet. Oh my god, this guy is our dream. Oh, listen to this dude.
He'll do anything
He'll do anything.
What? How much?
Yes.
How much money did you say? 7,800,
925, 900. Okay. How about I give you 8,000? Okay. Is that good? I mean, Saul Goodman got better at that, especially asking for money, as we know later, but he also knew he could take advantage. He could talk to Walter in a way he couldn't talk to someone like the Salamancas. You know, one of like cartel connected people. Lindsay says one of the reasons Saul is her favorite character in Breaking Bad is sneaky way of weaseling out of a tough situation with shit like this.
Speaks for itself.
So then we go into this.
Business, yeah. Right.
Biznatch.
You know the Tuco I know? He would have skinned them alive and let the buzzards eat their eyeballs. But there you were. You go blah, blah, blah. And they walk out of there. I mean, it's amazing, really.
They wheeled out, actually.
Wheeled out.
So, Ignacio and I, we got something you can do for us.
Okay, so he needs Saul to be Crazy Eight's lawyer from what we saw in the last episode and deliver him a message. We're all going to talk through this, but it's pretty basic what he wants him to do. He needs Saul to tell him to set Gus up and give up one of the drop spots for the money. Three of the drop spots for the money.
For $500,000.
And basically set it all up in a way to make it look. Or well, he didn't actually know. They didn't instruct Saul to do this. This is just Saul being Saul. Set it up in a way to make it seem like he has no control over what happened. Like that they get into a fight in there. Like we'll get into that scene later. But
he doesn't want this kid to be murdered.
Right. Exactly.
He doesn't want to be culpable in one of his clients being murdered by, the powerful client that hired him in the first place. He doesn't want that.
John's.
But behind all of Jimmy or Saul's motive and money and wanting to just be recognized, the fame and that comes along with the money, more than any of that shit, right? He's still not a bad guy.
No.
He's a hustler.
Is that you knocking?
Great cons and shit. Knocking?
Oh, I thought I heard some knocking. Okay, it just stopped. I thought Walter White was
shaking my hand.
I thought Walter White was at our door. He was the one that was knocking. Sorry.
So yeah, he's not a murderer. He doesn't want to do bad shit to old people. Like if he used to steal from a rich guy who's a prick in a bar, con him out of a few $1,000s when he's a
Yeah,
prick
he's
also.
not a bad exactly,
not
Joe. He's
above
not
that.
he's not a bad person. He's not. He's
Like, he ain't gonna go give that money back or give it to charity and
right.
shit. But
No, he's not a good person. He's
not a good person. But
no,
he's
not a
good.
good. He's not a horrible in this world. In the characters that we've seen, he's not one of the horrible humans out there in this world.
But he's an enabler, and he's a devil.
Yeah.
He's the
He's
a bad influence.
He's
on your
evil.
shoulder, man.
He's evil Jiminy Cricket for sure. And John, it's great to see you as well. And we're going to be out here for this whole season, and then a couple of other great shows coming back as well. So yeah, we will be out here, and we will be doing some more Game of Thrones content eventually. Just figuring it out. We're just waiting for some book to come out or something. But no, we will be. What's the bet? Will Winds of Winter come out before the prequel series?
Dude, I can't go back to that shit. I ain't going back to any of it. Man, D&D killed that whole fucking mess.
Let's save that. Let's save that for a different show. But my bet in what I'm asking is which will come out. They've said the prequel series will come out in 2022. Will Winds of Winter come out before 2022? I'm not even kidding. I
can't wait for any of it, dude. I really can't.
Yeah,
I'm excited for
Joe's
the prequel, the book, all of it.
No, Joe's very
Gimme.
Joe's very excited. All joking aside,
Gimme.
give him. But yeah, Joe, it's interesting to ask that question though. Which will come out first? Anyways, okay. So Lalu says, said you have a mouth. Are you guys gonna review Westworld? I am. I will be talking about it. Yeah, bitch. I will be talking about Aaron Paul and Westworld this year. I hear you, Joe. I kept staring at my Game of Thrones posters. And I get sad. Joe gets sad about it too. He does. He calls me in the night and he cries, looking at his wall. Okay, the book is not coming out ever, probably.
Never, ever.
Okay, so legal problems. So Jimmy, for a second, thinks that he has something to worry about, but he's like, got funny lines in here, Jimmy one-liners. For a minute, I thought I was gonna have to swallow a condom full of heroin. And Lalu jokes maybe later.
Yeah, not today.
Yeah, not today.
We'll get there.
That might be another thing. So it's just a funny situation. I almost want to just keep playing a little bit more of Jimmy here.
Yeah, we got a legal problem.
A legal problem. Fantastic. So, just for a minute there, I thought I was going to be swallowing condoms filled with heroin.
If you're lucky.
Maybe later.
We have a guy sitting in MDC.
So basically, at the end of all of this, he's like, I don't know if I can do this, and Lalu's like, no, you're the guy for this.
You're definitely
the guy for this. When this is a funny situation here, when Jimmy tells Lalu that his rates have gone up, it feels like a ploy to get the job, a big payday, but maybe it's a bit of both. He stumbles as a quote, and it's pretty fucking hilarious. Let's listen to this.
Rush fees. Do the math. It's
Rush
like
fees?
$7,925. Yeah.
Yeah.
He pulls it out of his pocket. It's spending cash.
7,925.
It's the going rate, so.
He just pulls out $8,000.
Sure.
There we go. He's back. He just counts it out. There you go. You can just hear that sound. It sounds like the casino, Joe.
Trouble.
Oh, God, dude, why'd you have to say it?
It sounds like
Let's go right now.
Sounds like the fucking casino.
Go right now.
Continue.
I can shut down the computer.
Continue this from our phones in the car. So Mike Ehrmantraut, he's having a tough time. He's in a bar. He's looking at all this shit. He's drinking whiskey, and the bartender's like, "Tell me your problems." And Mike is like, you can't help me with you can't help me with my problems. Nothing can. And then he starts fixating on a poster or a picture behind the bar of the Sydney Opera House, which I believe Ziegler said he worked on, or Werner Ziegler said he worked on. And the guy's like, can I do anything for you? And Mike's like, take that fucking picture down. If you get that fucking... Get it down now. And he's like,
I think you need to leave.
Yeah, I think you've had enough. Get out of here. And Mike's having trouble with the whole thing with his son and dealing with
Like,
this.
come on, bartender. It's a fucking tack. Take it down. Put it upside down. Put it behind something. Put something over it. Whatever. Make the customer that's sitting right in front of the fucking thing happy. And when the motherfucker gets up and leaves, put it back.
Oh, it was
What
his.
the fuck?
Thank you, Joseph. I knew it was something, but I kind of forgot. His father had worked on it, so there was some. Oh yes, okay. So now it makes a lot of sense. And Ziegler had said at one point that he went into design and that sort of stuff because his father did it, which was parallel to what Mike's thinking about. That his son went into being a cop and being a dirty cop like he was, which got him killed. Yada yada yada. Parallels up the asshole in this fucking episode, and it all works. You know, like a lot of shows try this shit. You know, let's do a parallel between this character and show you how much they're alike, but different. This show in this episode put them all to shame in the way that they do in this season, and the way they've done this with Mike and Ziegler, and the way they're doing it with Jim and Kimmy. Yeah, I guess Jimmy and Kimmy instead of Jimmy and Kim, Jim and Kimmy. But I guess you could say that as well. I'd call her Kimmy. I'd be like, hey, Kimmy. Okay, so yeah, Mike's pissed off. And then later that night, Mike's walking home. Joe talked about this before. And he's walking home.
Where you going?
And some guys try to rob him. And Mike's like, you know what?
Don't be scared.
Some guy's like, give me the $20. You know what, Joe? I got way more than $20 on me. And then the guy hits him, and Mike smiles.
He goads him into it.
No, yeah, he was waiting for the hit. And then Mike hits him and goes, yeah, that's just
He
what
takes
I wanted.
it doesn't even fucking phase
No, he
him,
wanted to get hit right there. He's like, yeah, baby, okay. It's again that Eddie Murphy joke where Eddie Murphy's like, yeah, you're gonna get all tough, and I'm like, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck with me? And then the guy's like, yeah, come on. And then and that's what happened there. Mike's like, yeah, you hit me. You think I'm gonna be scared? And then Mike goes all crazy, old man Bruce Wayne and Batman Beyond on those guys. That's what it kind of reminded me of, where he's like,
who's next?
Yeah, who's next? Come on, dog. Who's next? You're not wearing hockey pads. So yeah, it was a great Mike moment.
Coming for you.
It was a great Mike moment where Mike just beats the shit out of him. And again, the color scheme in this episode is incredible. This whole scene was filmed in this like yellow tone to it, which was, I don't know the meaning, but I'm sure there is a meaning.
Summer night streetlight, baby.
Yeah, it just looked really cool. I don't even give a fuck if it meant anything. It just looked really fucking awesome.
Is
Mike,
it still beautiful out right now, Phil?
yes. Or it was last time I was out. Mike fucked this dude up. It's a little windy. It's a little windy for my liking, but the
you're in the 10-degree cool zone.
The temperature
It like drops 10 degrees once you've passed the square.
Lindsay says, my husband's reaction to that scene was, dude, you don't want to mess with a drunk Mike. Realty. I'm behind so much on this last episode I remember watching was, I think, the first season. We'll binge watch to catch up on the current season. It's time for the series finale. Don't care about spoilers. I'm going to walk around those, but you have a good road. I'd say season 2 the show is always good, but I think season 2 is where it really starts to hit its stride personally. Jimmy and Chuck are responsible for
Chuck's fault.
It's all Chuck's fault. It is all Chuck's fault. Okay, so Mike comes home. Mike comes in to see. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Mike comes home to see Kim as he turns and says, hey, she's drinking, and puts a bottle on the... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No. Saul comes home. Saul comes home. I'm like, what the fuck did I write in my notes? Saul comes home to see Kim on the porch, and a little, hey, she's drinking, and he puts the bottle on the edge. We talked a lot about this scene earlier, so just kind of zip through it.
She's happy, but doesn't want that bottle to fall.
Exactly.
And as soon as she's ready to walk away, she snags that bottle and runs.
Exactly. And we also hear in this scene that she has a whole day of doing her pro bono clients, which keep her human instead of being the corporate machine of the Mesa Verde situation. So we go off to
Naive little lawyer.
It is very naive. And if people want to hear a little bit more of a breakdown of the scene, we talked a lot about this in the precursor to the show. We could talk a little bit more about this, but our whole intro.
Repeat the brilliance.
Yeah, exactly. Our whole intro is all about Kim and Jimmy and this whole situation. So a great parallels with this in the end of the episode, and to see how Kim changes throughout this episode, and actually generally seeing character progression, something you don't see in years on some show. You see within a legitimate person making person-like decisions. Speaking of person-like decisions, we go off to Nacho's house where one of his girls, he's there with two girls.
Oh, she's fucking tweaked out.
And she's tweaked out, destroying a Rubik's Cube to make it work. And Nacho, again, these are these little things I love about this actor.
To make it clean.
To make it clean. Yeah, I'm sorry. Clean.
And that shows she goes after the remote next.
Yeah, and he
goes brilliant though. I love it. He's so fucking like calm.
Cool, he goes and grabs a jigsaw puzzle. He goes, try this.
Try this.
He's
what
again.
What are you doing to the remote, sweetie? What are you
No,
doing?
it's okay, honey. It's okay.
I gotta take it apart to clean it.
No. Just try this. Just try this. I would have been a lot different.
Just yeah.
And I know I'm giving the actor credit for this but it's writing as well. But the way he performs this in such a smooth manner, it's so perfect. It's such the perfect.
I don't know how to deal with this tweaker.
Yeah.
There was something else. Refocus your attention, little kitty cat. Stop scratching the couch. Here's a toy.
Yeah, so calm, so calm. But in fairness, when you deal with tweakers or people that are fucked up in certain situations, it's like being around drunk or tripping people. I've been around that stuff like so much that it just doesn't freak me out.
You can't block them. You have to
guide them. Yes, guide them in a very warm, friendly way. When someone comes up, oh, what's going on? I'm like, oh, I know what's going on with you. Everything's okay. It's gonna be fine. Come with me. I'm gonna bring you to someplace happy. Here, hold on to this silly. Now, don't look in the box. Whatever you do, don't look in the box.
Come with me,
you sure do have a pretty mouth there.
Girl.
That's what I do. Then I pull this little toy out of my pocket and I go, resistance is futile. I am the cutest of Borg. Ah!
That show.
Oh yeah, we'll mention that at the end here too. And eventually we need to do a podcast on that with Joe. And then I also, if worst case scenario and timing gets tough, I'm going to do one big roundtable podcast on that at the end of the season with Joe, maybe my friend S. Smith, and a couple of other people. So let's go on to this. But yes, I am going to be talking about that show again more.
It ain't VCS good.
Yeah, Jesse and Nacho. Yeah, no, I mean it's got its warts, it's got its ways, but it's fun. It's
more Trekkie shit. It's good shit.
It's fun. Yeah, it's a fun watch for me. But yes, Picard cast coming, Joseph. I've done 2, but many more to come.
Dare I say my favorite Star Trek shit to date?
Interesting.
Oh, minus the like documentary thing that
I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were about to say minus Babylon 5. So we go off to Nacho.
No.
You said Star Trek, not sci-fi. Yes, you want to be clear. Okay, so we go off to Nacho's house with one of his girls destroying a Rubik's Cube as Joe considers his next Babylon 5 is better than Deep Space Nine rag that he's planning out right now in his mind. I can see it. And then Nacho's annoyed, but he deals with it well. Not much to talk about this scene other than saying it was very heartfelt and very well produced, and you can see where Nacho gets his calmness yet manipulation tactics from his dad. His dad is a very good person. I'm not saying his dad in no way is using this ability as a criminal, but he uses it in a very effective dad-like way where he makes Nacho feel very comfortable, and he's there to talk to him about something nice and play like he doesn't know what's really going on and being very calm, and he basically gets all the information he needs before he tells his son to go fuck himself. And he's not a runner, and if he wants to run and be a fucking little pussy, he can be a pussy, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking the money and running if you got us into danger, and if I die because of that, you're gonna have to live with that, asshole, because I lived my life the way I want and I'm not afraid of dying. So go fuck yourself, Nacho, for trying to pay me off and get me out of my business that I want to die in. Basically is what his dad said to him. I'm summing that scene up a little bit, but Nacho had someone go to him and offer him money to buy the store so he can move and, retire and blah, blah, blah. knowing that he would come to him to talk to him about it. And Nacho thought he had one over on his dad, and his dad slapped him on his bottom and said, "You were fucking just the student. I am the master, motherfucker." It's hard to lie to your parents. They know tells on you you don't realize you have. It's tough. And I know Joe would say, I can beat my dad in poker anytime I want. But I would say your dad probably your dad has tells on you that no one else does. Because he knows you in a way that no one else does. I would say that's true. I would say, in my experience, I've seen Papa Larry get under your skin in a game.
Anybody can win a hand.
Not a hand. I've seen him lord over you in games because he's on tails on you.
That one silver fox puts me up.
It's true.
That one silver
It's true.
fox,
It's
right?
true. Anything
that we've entered or played in together.
Money wise.
Me up.
Money wise. But my point is,
just that one. Not to mention the countless other tournaments that you and I have both cashed in, that we have all been in over him.
He's go big or go home in big tournaments.
No. He's fucking fantastic.
He is.
And he has taken lots of my money.
Yes,
individual
but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. If you're wanting,
Big Kev, man, I want to come out there and live with you for a couple months.
Yeah, me too. All I meant is that I've definitely seen you beat him and he's beaten you, but I know that he knows tells on you. I see it when you guys are in hands one-on-one together. He looks at you in a way that you're my fucking son. I saw you shit your pants as a kid. I know
As an adult too, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I know you little fucking pissant. You can't fucking lie to me. And I know some people are measured and can lie to their parents. That's not what I'm saying. You can.
He's a great card player. He's a great.
And he's a good
player,
and a good
gambler.
Reader of bullshit.
He's a great gambler.
He's a great gambler and good reader of bullshit.
Yeah.
And most fathers or mothers are of their sons or daughters. Like they're even
versa.
They're even better. Yeah, maybe
some kids can never see their parents.
No.
Bullshit. Some parents can never see their kids bullshit. They'll always, not my kid. My kid isn't a bully. Right?
Or Lalo or Gus Officer. That's very possible too. Badger loves Star Trek. Babylon 5 is better than Deep Space Nine, says the real YT, who just became Joe's favorite fan of all time.
It's true.
Favorites.
It's
okay. Let's not get back.
Deep Space 5. I love it.
yeah. It is better than Deep Space 5. He corrected himself. Okay, so Dad says whatever. So now we're in real court, and it's
no, real YT, man. You had that shit right.
Okay, so we're in real court next, and it's slow as Kim waits. And then again, we get more colors here. Darker tones in this scene to kind of symbolize to make it seem more real, like you're watching court TV. There were like almost video like quality to this scene in some ways, just to make it seem more procedural. And the clerk comes in to talk to Kim about some Mesa Verde stuff. Oh no, or her law clerk comes in, her assistant comes in to be like, dude, Mesa Verde needs you. And she's like, Mesa Verde said that I'd have the day off today. And they're like, no, they need you to talk to you now. You need to get down there. That's your pay. I'll deal with your pro bono stuff. And she's like, no, I want it the other way around.
And that's just it. Like, she's got the assistant clerks. She's having work on the big money shit. It's like, yeah, you want to get your fucking hands dirty, but priorities, man.
Yeah,
priorities.
It's true.
What's she gonna do? What did they go have her do?
It's not
really. What did they go have her do? And nobody else could call the fucking marshal on this guy. There's nothing she can do. She ain't gonna drag him off by his fucking ears. Anybody can call the fucking the sheriff or whoever the got to come out and fucking get him off the property. They're like, that's bullshit that she's got to be there for that because that dude is freaking out.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
It's a power play to make sure she knows her place and knows that they're in control of her and that she can do this pro bono stuff. But if they ever need her, they can rip her away from it. Like they knew she had this day off, knowing Kim and the kind of person she is.
She should have been on that shit anyway.
Stop the tapping again.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's probably not loud for everybody, but for me, it's like. So, but yeah, she knew. Knowing Kim, she's probably asked for this day off for weeks, Joe. They knew that this was her day to do this shit, and they wanted to prove a point to her. They had some problems with her last season with some of this stuff, with showing her priorities, and they want to make sure that she knows when they whistle, she runs. There we go. I mean, it really feels like court shivers. Yeah, Bernie, it really did. It really kind of felt like real court in that scene. So we go. So yeah, all that sort of stuff. We'll fast forward a little bit to her actually going out to see the guy, but we go over to Crazy 8 and Saul, who introduces him as his new lawyer, which is, again, seeing two Breaking Bad characters together in a new way is pure fucking television gold for me.
Like I thought she was gonna get shot by that dude.
We'll let you know when
That would have been the best thing right there.
What, when she snuck back into the house?
Yeah, when she went and passed the gate, like, boom, done. Come back on my property again, bitch. Without. Yeah, there it is. That sound. What happened?
Oh no, we have lost audio. No, off to Crazy 8. So I'm your new lawyer, and here we go. I think this is better. I think this is what I was waiting for. And right in this scene at the beginning is when we see the introduction of.
lawyer.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't call no lawyer.
No, you didn't. Lalo did.
Sorry for killing your ears there,
I
Bernard.
didn't say anything to no one. I kept my mouth shut.
I know. Don't worry, kid. I'm nothing but good news for you. All right, we got a lot to go over here. How are you at memorization?
So basically sets him up here that you need to remember this whole thing, and it's our lead in to seeing how well they play it. And I gotta say, Crazy 8 does a really great job acting here. Dirty Locks, do you think Kim dies before the series end? Asks SM.
Yes.
Yes.
Or she's white fanged. One or the other.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't start the eviction process, it takes a month or two, but they should have started that shit already. It's Christmas time. They won't evict at Christmas. So Kim and Saul no longer love interest. They still have yes, as of this point, if you don't care about spoilers, as of this point in the series right now, episode three episodes in season 5, they are still a couple.
They live together.
They live together, yes. Their romance is reaching new heights. Okay, so Saul is waiting in the night for the government plates. Oh, we see. Okay, yes. So Saul is waiting, and then we see the government plates pull up, and we see Hank's belly before we see anything else. And then we see the head, then we hear the voice, and here's the hand, and then we see the smile. It's fucking this son of an asshole.
Day it expires.
Like what?
Anything. Milk.
Fucking
ketchup,
douchebag.
Soy sauce. As the clock literally strikes midnight, Marie hands me a full hefty bag and pushes me out to the trash cans. I mean, you know, most of it's still good. What the hell?
Food banks don't take expired food.
Oh, thanks for that, Ann Landers.
Once I found an old can of...
Yeah, I dealt with a similar situation. We're just a bank wanting to take the house, and they'll work hit, and they just throw his shit in the dirt. Yeah, him leaving on his own is a lot better. They will get to a point where they will just throw your shit on the dirt, and they will lock you out of your own house. So yeah, him leaving on his own, Kim was trying to help him. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end when we get to that scene, but I agree.
vanilla frosting. I hate that.
And great to see you. Been a while since I could comment live. Great stuff, boys. Go Pats. Great to see you. Cardoski, great to see you. And great to have you back in the live chat. And it's awesome to be doing these live streams at all different hours to be able to let some of our good friends in the live motherfucking chat popping on in, popping on out. And also have to welcome back the audio podcast listeners that I'm finally posting the audio podcast again for Better Call Saul, and I saw that we got some new listeners and some new viewers and some stuff, so thank you guys, everyone that's listening to us on any of the pod catchers out there. It's just a audio version of the show you're listening to right now, so if you missed anything and you want to listen to the ridiculous audio of all of this, please do.
I'm still here.
Kim is running drugs in the clink making Pruno.
Hey, we were talking about expired food. I thought it was relevant.
So we get some Hank and Gomez business. Joe, did you like getting to see Hank and Gomez again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited. It was as soon as I saw the boot, actually the government plate. Yes, I was all in. It was exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting to see them.
It's more just greatness.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I love how it didn't seem forced to me. I mean,
not at all.
We knew this season that they were showing up, and it makes sense dealing with this cartel stuff that if something like this happened, that Hank and Steve would show up. So they're on site to meet Crazy 8. Hank's giving him that look, that smile, and that crap. Hank is such a fucking dick. Let's not go past 2 ways past Tuesday. Hank is a douche-nard. He is, especially this stage of Hank, if they're doing him right.
Yeah,
and doing
he's a cocky fuck.
He's a cocky, just an asshole in a lot of ways. So Hank is just being such a dick. He's skeptical, and he's like, give me the name, give me your boss, tell me everything. He starts to explain about the dead drops, but before he can say anything, dun to the dun to the dun. Let's listen to this.
Shut your mouth.
Bustin' on in is Saul Goodman. What the fuck? Wrong number.
Picked up for possession a half ounce of street grade gag.
That's the only time when I feel like a radio guy, Joe, when I'm trying to get these sound cues. I'm like, come on, hit the cue. That's the wrong number. Wrong number there, half, eh?
That's dealing weight.
Keeps his mouth shut for the first 2 nights he's in here, and now has an epiphany and wants to talk. Okay. Wow me. Make my tiny eyes grow
it's not
wide with
real.
delight.
Like, they arrested him for possession, right? But it's not really like the DEA would even be interested in this.
No, it's because
like,
What if?
it's because they know that this guy's connected somehow to the Salamanca crew.
well, he's already made the comment to somebody that I want to talk. So they were called because a dealer wants to talk.
Right.
Dealing charges.
And they're hoping they can turn him to try to get Hector or Lalu or whatever.
This guy probably wasn't going to be facing fucking real time anyway. Listen, I told the cops I was there to fucking fix a pipe. I was fixing the pipe, and if I thought there was fucking crystal meth that was in it that was going to fall out the bottom, I wouldn't have been banging on it in front of him. A friend called me, said, can you fix the pipe? My roof's been leaking. The landlord won't do anything. I came over to do it.
Face to face with the big guys, so
Yeah.
they
No.
leave it in different spots.
So he's
Dead drops?
Yeah.
telling about the dead drops, and here we go. Here comes Saul Goodman.
Attorney, and you're in violation of his constitutional rights.
And this shit
It's all
too. which
good,
is-
man.
There. It's Saul Goodman, man.
He
Really,
has to
come on,
talk to
that's your
them.
name?
Listen, officer.
I love that. I love
Attorney,
Hank's line
and
there.
you're in violation of his constitutional rights.
It's all good, man. Really, come on, that's your name?
Listen, officer.
Special agent.
Oh, the DEA. Oh, I see.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Well, what, they don't teach the Constitution at Quantico these days?
Yeah, Quantico is FBI.
I don't care. DEA, FBI, Department of Sanitation. It's time for you two gentlemen to vacate the premises. There's the door. Shoo, shoo, go away.
Your client waived his right to an attorney.
Well, he most certainly did not.
Yeah, I did.
Zip it. Okay, nobody's talking to you.
FBI, DEA, it's all shit sanitation.
Oh,
too.
whatever. Yeah, well, I don't give a
Okay,
fuck.
He was dropped on his head as a child.
I want to talk.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Sounds like enough.
I don't know if it is the combination, but the dialogue, what they write for Bob Odenkirk, or how he just performs it, how much of it is a little like when you hear him talking in the Insider Podcast stuff, when Odenkirk or in interviews, Odenkirk says all of this is scripted, that he doesn't. It's more how he improvs stuff, and occasionally he does, but most of what he says is actually stuff written in the script that they just know him so well and they work.
Dude, you see him as Saul Goodman, as Jimmy, right? You see him talking over his notes for court or preparing to go talk to, go con someone. This dude takes prep as the character. I guarantee you the actor is sitting there doing that same shit.
I mean, everything
All is doing that
everything
same
that you
shit.
know about Bob Odenkirk is that he's a very organized person. He was a writer on Saturday Night Live. He's a writer of Mr. Show, wrote a lot of that stuff. Like, Bob does a lot of the work when it comes down to it in the business, and has worked very hard. That's why for a performer, it's good. It's amazing that he has this show and it's being celebrated in this way. And I do hope, even though I don't believe in this shit a lot, and I don't really give two shits about it, it matters to the people that are doing it. I hope in this year or next year he finally gets the Emmy he deserves for his acting on this fucking show, because he is doing such an incredible performance. It's Kim as well. Chuck deserved it. Michael McKean deserved it a couple years ago for Best Supporting. Kim deserves recommendations the last couple of years, or Rhea Seehorn, or whatever her name is again. Rhea Seehorn. They do it. Douche nozzle. So thanks for the efforts. thanks to the efforts of the attorney and some great acting here at the end,
One moment. Come here.
he finally gives him the drop info.
Error. Also showing a heartbreaking lack of faith in his attorney. And I'm not going to lie, it hurts.
So basically, Hank falls for some of it, but doesn't fall for all of it, and he accepts the drops as an acceptable way to get him out of there and have him be a quote unquote informant. But it needs to lead to an arrest. That was very key. That it needed to lead to an arrest. Arrests at least.
Multiple. That's going to be an important factor in the future, I believe.
Yep.
Like I said, the dealers kick up the cash. I don't know who picks it up.
Bob was really great, especially in Fargo. He deserves an Emmy tenfold. So was Lalo setting up Gus here, Ballsman? I think he was. I think
yes.
he was setting it up to make it all to turn this into a way of setting Gus up and leading the DEA towards Gus's business and towards what he's doing.
All I know is that there are these 3 dead drops they run on Thursday nights.
Hold on. What? Look, I know how this goes, all right? My guy talks to you, you squeeze him out like a sponge, then you dump him back on the street. Word gets out that he's a fink, he ends up bleeding out in front of his mother's house.
It's happy, Joe.
It's not gonna happen, okay? Do you hear what I'm saying? My client is not leaving here with a target on his back.
No, he's not.
So that Joe, that goes to what you were saying earlier, that he cares to a certain extent. He doesn't want to just throw this kid to the wolves. He doesn't want to be responsible for deaths. That's not.
He wouldn't be going this far to sell it if it was just tell him to say this shit.
Yeah, he's okay with fucking people over, but not okay with people dying. And stop tapping.
Oh, sorry. I'm like shaking my bouncing my legs. I'm not even tapping it. I can barely hear anything here.
Like, I don't know how loud it is to people listening. Oh yeah, people in the chat tapping Joe. So we need to get you. I need to get you a stress ball or something to squeeze. Was Joe sampling the gack? Yeah, people want to know if Joe was jerking off to the.
I was jerking off.
Joe was having a good time. He's excited to be live again. He's really excited to be live again.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Okay, so anyways, she starts. They start talking. Saul does his thing as it gets spun. Don't turn my client into a target, and he lets it out. And they're going to protect him to a certain extent. So then we talked about this before, but let's finish this off. Kim's on her own little path to the dark side, as she views it, as she has to play the villainous corporate enforcer. Now, this was an interesting scene. Kim starts off nice, but can't play nice very well, and ends up just giving this guy the fucking asshole treatment.
Thanks for speaking with me. I think there's been a misunderstanding, and it's in everyone's best interest if we straighten it out. May I come in?
Stay right where you at.
Yeah, you ain't coming in.
Again, Joseph. When is Phil going to give his balls to Joe again? Again is the key word in that.
I like big balls and I cannot lie. The other brother can deny. A double juicy, maybe?
So they're going to give him 18
Okay.
value of his house plus 18 grand. And he's like, no, screw you.
No, yeah, $5,000 up to 18, but fuck you.
As I understand it, you and your family have been here since 1974. You built this lovely house, but you never actually owned the land it was on. It was leased to you by a local company, Deerview Investment Properties?
Me neither,
100
Lindsay.
years. I got 70 left.
That's correct. However,
And this actor's been in fucking everything.
this may be difficult to
Oh,
wrap
yeah,
your head
dude.
around.
Northern
Your
exposure.
lease stipulates that the property owner can buy you out at any time for fair market value plus $5,000.
David Chase started
I
on
know
Northern Exposure, I believe.
$5,000 isn't nearly
The
as much
creator
as
of
it
The
used to be back
Sopranos.
in 1974, and we do understand how inconvenient.
I thought he should have had a shotgun at least one of the visits. Joe was saying that earlier, Bernie, that he wanted that to be the end of Kim right there. That he
Could have been. It really.
right when she
honestly
busts
could
through
have
the
been.
fence and he just shoots her. Get off my property. It's still my and then his line is it's still my property. Good. And the fade to black. That'd be great.
So as a gesture of goodwill, Mesa Verde has just
Exactly, Joseph. If he cared more about the money, he could have squeezed them for a lot more. And
buyout to $18,000.
and that's the logic in situations like this, and where someone says they can't blame Kim. She's breaking down logic for him, and she explains later, being truthfully honest to him and trying to use like real life experience, at least what I think is real life experience. I don't know if she was just making that shit up about her mother and her family or not.
Yep, no, it was all real.
It was all real. I took it as real as well. That
Jimmy's well, who was it? Chuck put her through law school.
yeah, Chuck and
The law firm.
the
and
law
shit.
firm. Yeah, Hamlin did. I don't know. I think she doesn't understand the concept of someone being this protective over property and property not being just equaling as a way of equaling money as equity. That's the weird thing about houses and place in apartments and places where you live. Basically, it is equity. It is money. It's something you pay into, you own, you rent, whatever. But when you're living there, it becomes something more. And when you live there 20s of 30s of years, it becomes emotionally special. And when someone's offering you value for it, equal value plus more, it's never enough in your mind. Plus, you never want to leave there when you get to a certain age. You don't want to live somewhere else because then it's just like it's over. And it's not logical at that point. It becomes emotional. And Kim doesn't get that. Kim's kind of like a game bot in this situation. And when she's in her lawyer mode, she's total, especially this lawyer mode, not the pro bono Kim style, but when Kim's in her corporate mode, she's game bot and she's just getting it done. I don't get emotion.
$18,000?
That's right.
Nobody's ever explained it to me like that before.
Woo!
Wait, I'm sorry, I gotta say it. I gotta do it, Joe. I'm no big city lawyer, but I don't know $18,000. I don't know. I'm just from a small town here, Miss Kim. I'm no big city lawyer. I just own a farm for 27,000 years with my family. I don't know what I don't see. I mean, come on, dude.
$1. That's a lot of money.
Gee.
I bet you with that I could buy a big old mansion.
Oh, I bet I could down in Beverly Hills.
We know
Hey,
it's
do
not.
me a favor, will you? I'm going to spread my legs out like this. And,
You
just
can
to
lick
finish it
my
off,
balls.
why don't
I mean,
you
kick
give me a
my
swift
balls.
kick in the balls?
Yeah, basically. My just where you need it. And yeah, that doesn't go well. Do you think, the follow-up question from Jay, do you think that Kim dies still being Saul's girlfriend? I'll answer Joe's question for him because he answered it earlier. He thinks that Saul pushes Kim away.
I think he's smart enough to see that he's going to have to.
Yeah.
Either push her away or that's leverage against him big time. He needs to be alone.
Especially once he starts working full-time with as like a cartel lawyer sometimes. The balls. So Jimmy delivers the news to Lalo at a racetrack, waiting for Nacho. It's just a fun setup. They're talking about car. They're chit-chatting, bunch of bullshit. And yeah, we'll get into this.
I replaced the carburetor. She's running like a racehorse, man.
It's a fine vehicle. It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah? What do you drive?
An Esteem.
A what?
It's an import.
A Suzuki Esteem.
He's
It's
got
an
a
import.
spin for everything. It's an import.
So?
Yeah, so
Oh, I love their accent. Oh, they just keep
assuming
they move
that
on with it.
drops are a real thing, feds are going to be on them.
Feds.
Yeah. DEA. There's a matched pair of them, and they're into this with a vengeance. I mean, think feeding time in the lion cage. And they're gunning for arrests.
So he gets into him and he arrests, yes. And he also wants to make sure that if word gets out that Crazy 8 is a rat, don't
kill him. He's
yeah,
not a rat.
Yeah, don't do what you do to rats.
You made him do this.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fuck him on both ends here because yeah. And Lalo ends this scene essentially being like, "You're awesome." you're great. And Jimmy's like, we're gonna use you again. And Jimmy's like, no, I don't think so. I'm busy. I got stuff to do. My mom called, and I can't hang out. I gotta do my laundry. And
I'm gonna do my laundry.
And they're like, no, guess what?
I mean, if there's going to be blowback, I don't want to be in the middle of it.
It's not about what you want. When you're in, you're in.
And that's Joe mentioned that earlier. That's it. And as he drops him off at the courthouse,
You're in. You're in.
as he drops him off the courthouse, I love this fucking episode, Joe. With this fucking eerie fucking music playing, we see the ice remnants of the ice cream cone like dismantled now, with swarming of
Next day.
of ants, like every ant in the universe just destroying and sucking this ice cream for every piece of sugar and joy and life that it has. Quite the fucking metaphor for for like a really, really bad day. Okay, so again, we come into the next scene. The sky, the visual is incredible. It's the first time I've mentioned that, but there's so many great visuals in this episode. Kim is driving back to check on her on the phone, checking on her pro bono clients. And I could play this audio, but basically we find out that her assistant's kind of an asshat and fails a bit. And Kim is the only one that can do
again and again and again.
Yep. Is that when you? Yes, exactly, Joseph. Exactly. Jimmy be like, I gotta wash my hair. Kim is gonna be a part of a Hoover. Maybe she might be calling a back from the dead. I mean, they can just use those clips of Max Cherry over and over again. So this is where we talked about this already in some detail. She breaks in and doesn't get an answer and just kind of goes up to the house. I also thought, Joe, I had the similar thought. I didn't think she was going to die, or didn't hope for Kim's death in this moment. But what I did think was, at one certain point, I was like, oh, he's going to pull out a gun. There's going to be a gun coming up here at some point, right? Yep. There's going to be...
he should have shot her as soon as she started walking through the gate.
Yeah. No, he could have. He could have, and it wouldn't have been a problem. And he would have been fully within his...
Probably. Depending on what their laws are there in that state.
I thought he was going to shoot like a warning shot. I thought that's how he was going to get her attention. But it didn't happen like that. She walks in, and she bangs on the door and goes, listen to me, and basically tells the whole story that... She knows what's happening to him terrible. She tells him about his mother, who never owned anything, that used to shake her awake, and they'd have to run outside in the middle of the night to escape the landlord so they wouldn't have to pay rent. Always one step ahead of the landlord. I can definitely relate to that, Kim. And I wrote in capital letters right here, great fucking character work for Kim. Like we don't know a lot of her history. Really, we've heard a couple things, like you mentioned, that Hamlin and McGill put her through college. And a couple of things about like her childhood where Jimmy, a couple of talks, but really we don't know a shit ton about it. This is a lot of good, sticky stuff. Yeah, and I like it. And she says she understands. He stares at her and he says, you'll say whatever you need to get what you want.
Again, you almost thought he was going to buy that shit, right? Because you were buying that shit, right?
I think he did. Right? I think he did for a second.
He had to talk himself out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kim will meet up with Jean. I could see that, Jason.
Jean, the chemist Jean?
No, Jean is. I'm sorry. That's Gail, who I was talking about earlier. Jean is Saul's name in the future timeline when he's working at Cinnabon. Cinnabon Saul. It's confusing.
No, man, dude is an idiot, right?
Cinnabon Saul.
What about that shit? Yeah. No, Jean.
Jean, yeah.
Jean's a fucking idiot. I take care of this on my own, right, dude? That dude's going home. That dude is going out to his cab and putting the video and the name into Google search engine, right? And fugitive warrant alerts and on the run from the law and
Joe, we know
and all that shit is coming up, right? So even if he goes out there and he kills this dude or beats this dude up or pays this dude off, that friend is going to be like, oh, so you got to check out these commercials from this. I met this lawyer. He's a fucking
Joe,
bumble. Oh, look at that.
it goes one step further from what we've heard in El Camino stuff. This is going to be the type of case that is going to be one of those Netflix documentaries about. You know, there's going to be the case of Walter White,
and
Heisenberg,
who was laundering the
money. Yeah, exactly. Like he's
from
famous. He's famous, and
his brother too.
Yeah, and then they uncovered the whole Chuck. Like he's in the news right now. They don't say it, but he's just as much in the news as Walter or Jesse was once they uncover it all, because he was somewhat of a celebrity, a minor celebrity, which is probably what that dude meant when he said that. Oh, you're a celebrity. Oh, like you're in the news all the time right now.
On the same level as who? Ted Nugent or some shit?
You mean Ted Bundy?
No, he put him on the level someone else he had.
Oh no, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought Netflix documentary. No, he had. Who did it say he had in his car? It wasn't Ted Nugent. It was some guitar player or something, some musician that's more famous than you are, but whatever. I forget. Let's not forget Saul told his secretary to call the number in November at a certain time to have to pay that. Oh, they do have to pay that off in the show because they made sure they showed that last season. Last season when they showed us the clip in the Breaking Bad timeline with the Breaking Bad cameras when he's ditching and collecting all the money out of his office to go get the fuck out of there. He tells Francesca, his assistant, to what was it again? Yes, to pay something off in November. Speaking of Breaking Bad, do you think Walter and/or Jesse make a cameo? Yes. Next season, one of them make a cameo, and it might have already been filmed. They might have filmed it on the El Camino set.
Heavy fucking Walt commercials are, and in between, I'd expect something.
Yeah, Walt's coming. I'd say Walt's more likely than Jesse, but I could see Jesse easily being there. I've always said that the Jesse cameo is going to be something like you're going to hear him say "yeah, bitch" in the back of a courtroom when Saul's working on one of his clients or something. You'll see him like stand up when Saul gets someone off in a montage and go "yeah, bitch" or something like that. Or you'll see him on stage with his band playing drums so that they can shadow him a little bit to make him look younger. I think you will actually have a Walter scene at some point before the end of the series.
I don't remember. He's still pretty young at this point.
He's still look in the El Camino, he pulled it off. But I think I want to see his band.
But in the timeline, he's still pretty young.
Oh yes, and the shoebox has some diamonds. Okay, so let's finish off this episode here, and then we're going to talk a little bit more before we call this a stream. So you'll say anything you want to get done. So then we see Gus and Nacho having a very tense meeting. Gus is pissed off and tells Nacho the deal. And Nacho tells him the deal of what's going on. And Gus, one of Gus's men, I think, is it Victor or is it the other one, says, well, we'll stop this from happening. We'll nip this in the bud. And Gus says, no, let it happen. So Gus is working a longer game. He's going to use this to his advantage. The dead drops remain. So at the end of our episode, we have, again, the thing we've been talking about all podcast, all show. Kim and Jimmy have everything in common, a lot in common in their situation. And they have a ruthlessness. They can really get what they need done and turn on a switch that they need to turn on. But they both have humanity left. But anyways, so he comes back to the house. We see a parallel of the earlier scene where Jimmy's up in the balcony, and they come back, and there's like no dialogue in this scene. I love it. I love how the two of them. Not every actor can do this.
It didn't need it.
It didn't need it. But not every actor can pull this off, Joe. Sometimes it comes off. Excuse me. And the critics of this show could say sometimes it feels slow if you're not feeling it.
Crafted.
It's crafted. I am with you.
The show is crafted, not created. It's crafted.
And
it's put together in such that you can have these great moments of tension throughout the whole episode or a whole series, a season, and it's quiet. The tension builds. The story is told through the cinematography, through the expressions.
Show, not tell, Joe.
The writing of dialogue to tell the story. You have everything, all these other tools they have, and they know they have all these other great tools and great people working on shit that they can express the story without needing to state the
Yeah,
obvious.
dude, they
like, I'm the man that's got nothing to lose. If you have to say you're the man that's got nothing, you're not scary no more, dude.
right, or if they had a lesser show would have had Bob going, or Jimmy's character going, "Is everything all right? Is everything all right? Is everything all right?" And then have her throw the bottle down and then turn to him and go, "I'm tired of half measures myself," or something, like saying something like that, and "I'm all in, Jimmy," and or whatever. But instead they had no dialogue, basically just the two of them looking at each other, telling everything that they need to tell, because these two actors work well together. They rehearse to fucking death in a way that a lot of Hollywood actors don't. The two of them actually get together a lot and rehearse, and when they know that they have big scenes coming up, they work this shit out. And you see everything you need to see. When she throws those bottles down, he throws those bottles down. They giggle when the lights come on, like they have a bonding moment. Sometimes it's as little as that. Even though Jimmy wasn't aware they were in a fight or they were in a fight cycle, so much when you're in a relationship with somebody and there's problems built into it and you can't do anything about the problems, but you still love that fucking person, you get to these points where you get to these like big moments where a problem happens, an event happens, even if it's like someone left the cap off the cookie jar or something, and it turns into the biggest argument in the world where both of you are the most horrible people to each other for months and months and months, and every little thing bothers you, or weeks, or sometimes it's a day. It has a different shelf life for everybody. And then one thing that you guys can laugh about, one makeup sex, one meal that you can share, one discussion point, one agreeing point, one equal moment where you both hate on something else together can repair that temporarily. It's a temporary fix, but some people can live their whole life with those temporary fixes, and
over and over again,
and over again, and it constantly repairs itself. Some people give up and be like, "I don't want to deal with this cycle again." And Kim, in this moment, had a moment of, "I'm gonna have fun with this guy while I'm here." Like, I know what he is now, and I'm not ready to leave because at least he loves me for me and is supportive of this shit. And if he keeps his boundaries, I'll try this. And I think there's a lot of that element in there. Bless you, Joe, for sneezing. Thought this season was the last, but we have one more. No, we do have one more. Bernie says, or you can just hate them forever. That's what we were saying. You could just continue, or you could just keep that hate forever. Sometimes they can piss you off so much, or the fight can be so bad, you could hate them forever as well. That is a possibility. But a lot of times, if you're in that, like,
if you're lucky
cycle, if you're lucky, if you're lucky, they hate you and never talk to you again. We're all working towards that, Joe. That's the goal.
That's the dream.
Yeah, if we're doing it right. And that is the end of our episode of Better Call Saul. My favorite episode of the season. I know there's only been 3, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, they just keep getting better. Everyone is better, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So Joe, we got a couple of here we go. We got a couple of voicemails here to play at the end of the show.
Yes.
So first off, this is from area code 210. Again, area code 210. Let me make sure I got the volume up here, and let's go.
So why doesn't Mike just
kill
let
everyone?
The police know where the driver of the truck is buried, and then get Salamanca put in jail? That's my question.
Good question. I think because Mike doesn't work that way, and Mike knows how the system works to a certain extent, and knows that they have people paid off and people like Saul that can do all sorts of weird tactics with the law. It's not always about the facts that they have, and it would just be one part of a bigger RICO case that they were trying to build, and nothing would happen in the immediacy. Mike wants revenge and results immediately, and the only way to do that is through helping Gus out to do it or not helping Gus out and doing it himself. But the reason why he agreed was knowing that they have equal
having those resources
and the similar goals. Someone with that much resource and similar goals, you want to work with them on their side. So I think it's not so much Mike wouldn't go to the police if he thought that was the best way to fuck someone over. I think
he knows that's not.
He knows that's not.
He's just dead.
Yeah, he knows the systems. He knows the system too well.
Watched. He knows he's being watched as well.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe, here we go. I was going to play a different one, but we got it right, motherfucking here. We got one more voicemail from our good buddy.
Which is the different one you're going to play?
One I already played last week. But we have a new one that came in 50 minutes ago. So here we go. We got a message from our good buddy, area code 347. Joe, this is for you.
Hey, Phil, what's up, brother? Big J here. You know, it's funny. I was taking an afternoon nap. I'm like, let me check out when Phil's coming on to talk about the show, because I know you weren't doing it last night, and I see you on YouTube. So, I see you with your partner there. What's up, Joe?
Hey.
You guys are doing well. Another solid episode last night. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's me, but fucking Kim looked fucking hot last night, man.
It's not just you.
Something about she looked a little like messy, man. The hair, she looked really hot last night. You know, I like seeing her like that. Yeah, you know, just the show. You can't get enough of this show, even though it's a slow burn. But it is getting to the point now. I love Hank coming back. You know, like I said, you know, I love Breaking Bad, but to me, this Better Call Saul is really more where I've been at. You could tell that. But I love Breaking Bad, and I definitely liked Hank, man. He was a cool dude, even though I'm not a big fan of narcotics cops, you know. But I love this character. But as far as the show, you know, it's my favorite show. You know, I can't wait for Westworld to come back. I just feel like we need something big to happen. Yeah. We're getting towards the middle of the 5th season already, and that's my granddaughter in the background. We need someone. We need something big to happen.
Now,
I thought Kim was going to get blown away last night. I don't know if you thought.
Now, make sure. I just want to say one thing, Jay. Don't yell at your granddaughter the way Mike did last episode. Don't say you're done. You're done. I'm trying to record on a podcast, but yes, I'm going to finish this. You're done. You're done.
I thought Kim was going to die last night. I thought that was going to be, and I don't want her to die because, like I said, I think she's fucking hot. But
too hot to die.
I just feel like show's gotta have
THTD.
We got to get back to more of the black and white scenes, and we also, you know, we don't know what happened with Kim and Breaking Bad, and I don't want to die, but something's got to happen, man. I am enjoying, you know, what they're doing with Vince and Peter, what they're doing with the show, but I just feel like, you know, even though I am enjoying this World Burn, it is at the point where we need something. We need to shake this up a little bit. You know, the thing where Mike was cool and all that, but listen, you know I love the show, and I'm glad you guys. You confused me. I didn't know what you were doing the recap, but let me hear what you guys got. I'm going to continue to watch your show. I'm going to rewatch your recap because I caught it like in the middle. All right, brother. If I think of anything else, I'll call back.
Awesome, great to have Jay. And you're fucking done. You're done. And I hear what Jay's saying there. And I think it's going to come. That big thing is coming in the Gene thing, and that's why I think this season will be a little bit more of putting those pieces in place. And I think once we get into that, and that's why I think the Breaking Bad stuff, when we're going to get into new territory and new situations. So I'm very excited to see that conclusion. But I agree with what Jay says. Even within that, it's still that the texture and the quality level of the show is so great that you're enjoying it all the way through, but you're waiting for those the stakes to keep popping up, and I think it will, and it will keep building this season, even if it's. But I think this show's stakes and Breaking Bad stakes are different kinds. This show will always be about those personal relationships first, and I think the intensity is going to come in a way like the Whitecaps episode of The Sopranos did at the end of season 4. I think this season is going to be that season for this show, in the sense of this is going to be the Kim and Jimmy bum 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 bam 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 bam. We're going to see a big explosion when their relationship ends. It's not going to end smoothly. It's going to be intense and humanly painful to watch, I believe, in the way that Chuck's demise with Jimmy was too. And in a different way, but in the same, and I'm not even talking about Chuck killing himself. I'm talking about the way Chuck ripped him apart. I never liked you, Jimmy. I was, like tearing him apart and destroying any veins of humanity that live inside of Jimmy, waiting for that other shoe to drop. And I love Bernie trying to figure out where Big J is from. And she's saying, so Staten Island, Queens, maybe the Bronx, definitely New York. And
sounds like Bernie. Oh, sounds like it, Bernie. It doesn't quite sound like Bernie. I thought he was saying it sounded like Bernie Sanders.
And let's see. I think we got one more over here. Oh no, here we go. Okay, so Joe, I don't think there's. I don't think there's. Yeah, that's coming up very soon. Ozark is back this month. Cobra Kai coming back in April. I sense that trailer coming back very soon. We got Picard still on right now. Joe's not into it, but I'm into it. Westworld coming back very soon on March 15th. We also have. There's a couple of other shows that I'm just blanking on that are coming back as well, like Netflix series that the new seasons are popping up.
Oh yeah, there's new shows coming out. So, like we just watched I'm Really Not Okay With This, really good.
Oh yeah.
We just watched Hunters, really good.
I'm looking forward.
I liked the first episode of Dispatches from Elsewhere a lot.
Okay.
Just finished Narcos season 2. Mexico, like there's a lot of
good shows.
You just finished some Ray Donovan out there.
Yeah, I'm mad obsessed with Ray Donovan currently right now.
I told you, man. I wish you had fucking been on.
I know. I wish I'd been
it
it too. Is it done? Is it like is there one more season coming back live, or is this done?
I think if it's not done, man, I got some catching up to do because I dropped out like.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely. That's my current
somewhere right after
catch-up show.
NFL.
And Bernie says, does actually sound like me. But yeah, there's a lot of really great shows coming back and showing up very, very soon. It's going to be fun to talk about them all. And so let's take a couple more questions, and then I want to talk to Joe about a couple of other things before we call this a live stream. And we got another.
I think so, Lindsay. I think so. Cynical.
We got another voicemail. Let's play this stuff.
I kind of think that Jimmy and Kim will be on good terms or whatever when she dies. Like they'll be in a good place in a relationship, and it'll like the death will like make Jimmy like I don't know cut himself off from like people and or whatever and become more of the Saul character that it becomes later in the future.
Yeah, no,
all right, later.
I agree with you.
Not
my friend.
willing to invest the time and effort to get used to anybody else's bullshit, to learn anything new, to train anyone, to be trained by someone. None of that.
Yep.
Focus on the business. Focus on the money. Focus on not getting anyone else killed. Focus on keeping yourself alive. Focus on keeping Big Boy alive and Secretary alive. Right. Make money.
I don't know why when you said Big Boy, it made me think of Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin. And I've heard rumblings that they may add him to a Spider-Man movie eventually. So I don't know. And
that works.
And John Barenthal might be coming back as the Punisher.
You cannot recast that character with
3 of those characters in that world. 4, because I think Jessica's really well cast too. But
you can't recast.
You can't recast Daredevil right now. If you ever do Daredevil again, you can't recast the Kingpin. You can't recast the Punisher. Those 3 need to remain the same if you bring any of those into any movies. I'm sorry. If they don't, I'll be so pissed off. I will. I do not want to see another fucking Daredevil. Like Charlie doesn't get enough credit in that role. I'm giving him fucking credit, motherfucker.
He's great in that role.
Ooh, we got another voicemail, Joe. Let's stay on. Let's see what this one has to say.
Yes, hello. This is the lawyer for Jason Voorhees.
Oh no.
He would like me to pass along a message. Two-parter. First part is he loves AMC's Better Call Saul, and you guys are awesome. And the second part is fuck The Walking Dead. And he really means that one. He put his machete up for that one. Anyway, good show, guys. Bye.
Interesting discussion. For those of you that don't want to talk about this, I'm sorry to do this, but here we go, Joe. Oh no! You can't see it, but the screen just changed to a Walking Dead background instead of the Better Call Saul background. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about your favorite show. Oh no! Here we go, Joe.
Don't do it, Phil. It deserves its own cast.
Joe, do you have this Sunday off? Do you have this coming Sunday off? Okay, we'll wait then. Live this Sunday. Joe and I will be live, I think.
You have to catch up then. You have to make
no.
sure
I don't want to catch up. No. Okay. Live next Sunday. Joe and I will be talking The Walking Dead. Okay, we won't talk about it now, but we'll be live.
I do actually have quite a bit to say about last 2 episodes.
Oh, okay, so you'd probably rather wait for next time, right? Oh no, real YT, yes, Walking Dead talk. No,
we'll have 3 episodes to discuss.
Right. Okay. So no, we'll be on this Sunday evening, 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
And then they get us twice in 1 week. Phil.
Eastern Standard Time, and we will be talking about 2 things on Sunday night. It will be called The Walk.
Maybe 3 if you're back on Monday.
I think I'll still be able to do Monday. I leave for Vegas on Tuesday, so yes.
And you'll want to be tired so you can.
Are you working? Plane. So you have Sunday and Monday off?
I don't.
Oh, so yeah. I'm gonna be back on Monday or Tuesday afternoon to talk about Better Call Saul before I leave for the trip. But yes, you and I will be back on Sunday evening to talk about The Walking Dead.
Where's Big Kev? Is he Vegas or is he Cali?
I think he's Cali right. I think he's Cali right now. But maybe. Bernie's like no.
When does the World Series start?
Not when I'm going to be there. There is
right.
There is a series of poker tournaments there though. Dart says The Walking Dead wasn't bad this episode. But last episode.
Big Kev should come out and meet you in Vegas.
So
let's talk about what casinos you're going to go to in Vegas.
We'll talk about that in a second. But yes, Joe and I will be talking about The Walking Dead. If you have any questions about any of the episodes, the first 2 episodes, and you want to get Joe's thoughts, you can call in at 781-990-8509 and leave a message for the Walking Dead cast on Sunday. That will be live Sunday evening. Or if you have any questions for this season of Picard. So Joe and I will be talking about The Walking Dead and a bit about Picard on Sunday evening. Mainly The Walking Dead, and we'll just touch on Picard at the end because we'll basically just be saying this.
Is that on tomorrow night or midnight or Thursday morning, right?
It's Wednesdays at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I believe it comes out.
Not Tuesday night into Wednesday or Wednesday night into
I think
Thursday?
It's Wednesday night into Thursday.
Awesome.
Why? When do you work?
Thursday night.
Oh yeah, so you'll be able to watch it before you go to work.
I'll be able to watch it Wednesday.
I might be able to go live with you.
Podcast Thursday.
Yeah, maybe there's a possibility. I don't like to say definitely about that, but there's a possibility we might be on Thursday afternoon.
I like that.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so this was this episode of Better Call Saul. Thank you for this silly discussion at the end here. But yes, Joe and I will be on. For those of you that are curious about our thoughts of The Walking Dead, you can either email me questions, igotissuesman@gmail.com, or tweet at either me or Joe or both of us, or drop in our DMs, or leave a voicemail or text at 781-990-8509, because we'll be recapping the episode, but it'll be more of a discussion like podcast than a full recap. We'll be talking about the 3 episodes of The Walking Dead, our overall thoughts of the season, and doing the same about the half a season of Picard, and as well. This show will probably be called The Walking Dead, but we'll be talking about both shows. So if you have questions about either one, jump on in.
So check out Cynical. Check out the Hunters on Amazon Prime.
The Boys on Amazon Prime, but everyone's already watched that. Yeah. Everyone's already watched that.
Probably, but what else? Check out I'm Not Okay With Any of This. Netflix.
I'm not okay with any of this, Joe.
I'm not okay with any of this, man.
Okay.
Phil, you should check that out too. Listen, it's a half-hour show. It's only 8 episodes or 7 or 8 episodes. It was good. I liked it. I loved the fucking ending.
Okay.
There you go.
That gets Joe's seal of approval. But everyone, I will be back next week to talk about Better Call Saul again, either this time on Tuesday afternoon or Monday evening after the episode airs. But Joe and I will definitely be back on Sunday evening to talk The Walking Dead. And
Stumptown. Like Stumptown.
Oh, with Robin Scherbatsky?
Fuck. Yeah, dude. Love Stumptown.
I've seen
the Connors too.
I've seen the previews. I don't know. Check out.
Good.
Oh, I've seen Real YT. I've seen all of you. I'm a big Dan Humphrey fan from Gossip Girl, so I followed him right over to You. You is definitely good trash, fun television. I love it. Loved both seasons, and I'm looking forward to more of that. But I love me some Dan Humphrey, and that does seem like the logical conclusion of where his story would go post the end of Gossip Girl. Without spoiling anything, you know what I mean. So if you haven't already and you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to the audio cast of this, oh, bless you. Bless your little motherfucker. Now, why don't you make sure you're subscribed to our podcast and share it around and help us keep growing. And I love all of you guys. I love the motherfucking chat. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much, and thank you to Joe for coming back. It's been great to talk to you guys again. And now I'm talking like the Micro Machine guys. And oh my God, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
You're almost as good as him.
I know, almost, almost. Hey, if I know what I'm saying, I can get pretty good. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. I can win that bet. All 50 states in under 30 seconds. Let me get over that. I gotta get ready to stop the show.
Because nobody knows what you're saying.
No, I can do it. I can still do it with people know Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado. You can understand that, can't you, motherfucker? A little bit. Almost. Good night, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Peace.